All right, welcome back to Raff's Brain, a show about things that are interesting to me. We're in store for another episode of Riffin with Raff, where I talk to people that are fascinating and who inspire me. In this case, it's a former colleague and a friend named Grauben Lara. How you doing, Grauben?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I don't know if I do either of those things.
You're amazing, dude. I love this guy. And he reached out to me. The reason we're having lunch here, you can probably hear the background. It's very busy. But we're having a brainstorming session because Grauben reached out to me about a contest. So Reason is seeking like educational or entertaining videos. I suspect they're looking for what's called vertical videos, right? Yeah. Which is more like a TikTok style. And he said, Raff, we got to get lunch and talk about some ideas. I said, yes. My only caveat is I want to record this conversation. Maybe I'll put it on the podcast. Maybe I won't. I just like to document this stuff. So if this works really well, we just forget that this is even here being recorded and we're just talking, right? But eventually I will have to wrap the show up.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if we learn something and then we actually execute it.
We'll see about that.
Look back at it. Okay, so what's your idea?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess for context, right? So Reason's doing this contest, submit a video, dealing at a cash prize, and what I was saying is...
What's the actual question they're asking? Anything about market? I mean, what do they want?
So it's really broad. They want a video related to freedom, and it can be for any audience. I think it can be any sort of style. They say you could be very serious, you could be very silly. So I think they're just really looking for content, from what I can tell, content that hits, and that reaches a wide number of people.
Yep.
And so it's interesting because
you've thought about this a lot. You're curious about.
I envision myself in my career as a communicator of these ideas in a way that's unique, because I think a lot of the times, I mean, in our network, in our movement, when we talk about free market principles, classical liberal ideas, etc., it's always in a very academic way, or it can be. It's
GDP, I'm just totally right. We got better storytelling, we gotta get better at that.
And it's like, how do you do that? And especially if they want to create content online on like a TikTok, like Reel-esque way, I imagine they want to reach a younger audience as well. And so I've been thinking to myself, like, what sort of content do I watch when I'm scrolling through like those videos?
So what do you watch
that catches my attention? I don't know. I watch really dumb stuff, I think.
I do too.
And it's always like, I think a lot of it is like, are things that capture your attention in like the first second or two that kind of keep you watching. When it's somebody sitting down, if I'm on Reels, I use Reels on Instagram. If I'm on Reels and someone brings up like a serious topic, I swipe away like almost immediately, because I'm not. I don't know. I do that stuff at work.
You're on Instagram to relax.
Yeah.
You want something light.
And I think a lot of people do. I mean, this is my assumption. Maybe I envision that a lot of people. I mean, I think of my sisters too. Like, they're in college right now. They're not going to watch a video of me talking to them about a specific policy, in Virginia, or they're in Wisconsin, so maybe with like a policy in Wisconsin. They might. I don't know. Maybe they might, but I don't think it's something that's going to capture their attention. Or if it is something they listen to, I need to make it in a fun way. So that's like my first thought. Like, it needs to have like a great hook and bring people in, and not be too serious.
Stylistically, what do you think about, like, would you want your face on this? Green screen? Do you want a cartoon character?
Yeah.
Like a fake voice? Do you want music? Like, do you want still images? It could be like a slide deck. There's so many opportunities here, but I was thinking, as you're contemplating how you're going to approach it, that's number one. That's the question I would ask. You're good, by the way. You made some. I remember back in the day when you were an intern for Kip, I think. Mm-hmm. You made some TikToks for Young Voices.
Young Voices.
You already have the talent at this. And you make your own podcast. Like, you know what you're doing. You're a communicator. You're a creative guy. So 100%. If you don't enter this contest, I'll be very disappointed. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Maybe we'll see about that. Well, it's kind of funny because, and I've been posting a lot more online for our partners at Atlas Network. So kind of get them to know
LinkedIn
the
is crushing. You're doing great there, man.
And so in some ways, I'm also thinking about just like general branding for myself and for the partners that I'm working with.
You have great stories that you can tell about those people, the groups and orgs you work with internationally, but it's hard. The moment if I'm like scrolling through and I see, you know, statistics about poverty or something, like it maybe strikes me as too serious, you know?
Yeah. So I don't know if I have an actual idea right now, but I have like a vision of like what I kind of want it to look like. And so like to answer your question, I do think it involves like me and my face, my persona, I guess. If I can involve other people in it, like, you know, again, like Atlas Network partners, for example, I think that would be really interesting because they have really cool stories to share, the things that they're working on internationally. I don't think it's high production quality. I don't think I think if it is, then I'm not doing a good job.
No,
in a weird way.
That's the least important thing. Does it capture the attention of a viewer? Does it communicate the idea? It can't just be about anything. So it does ultimately have to land with some type of market-friendly, freedom-friendly, whatever you want to call it, takeaway. But you can do that. I think that even if it was very light, I think they'd appreciate it. So now, I don't want to compete with you, but I think I want to enter this contest.
I mean, yeah, might as well.
I know what I'm going to do.
We'll split the cash prize.
Which they've upped. Apparently it was 500, now it's 1,000. Now
Exactly.
it does get tempting at a certain point. Here's an idea that I would do. This isn't like if I was asked, if it was like, hey Rob, you got to make one of these today. I could do it right now. I might do it tonight when I get home. It'll be very, very simple. I'll show a picture of myself circa 2003 in which I'm wearing metal frame glasses. And I can even show maybe more pictures of my childhood. I was diagnosed with myopia, like in 3rd grade. So I've been wearing glasses most of my life. But I always wore gold metal glasses forever. Through teenage years, into college, law school, young professional here in DC. And I pretty much think that was my look. And it was okay. I'm not a fashionable guy, as you know, so I just sort of look what I look like. But I was on a vacation with my parents in Myrtle Beach, a beach in South Carolina somewhere, not Myrtle, but one of those. And my niece at the time was like very young, and I was taking her out to wade in the ocean. And my dad said, like, hey, be careful, she'll probably throw your glasses off in the water. And I said, whatever, because I knew better, you know. She's not going to do that. Literally, like 2 minutes later, I'm pulling her up, we're like splashing in the water. She grabs my glasses and flips them into the ocean. And I'm blind without my glasses, dude. I'm in South Carolina, I don't have a backup pair of glasses, I don't have any contacts. So I was a little like freaked out. Even the idea that I was gonna have to drive home without my glasses would have been like dangerous. Like I'm seriously legally blind. I can't see anything. So what did I do? Actually what I did have was, I had sunglasses. Sorry, those are my regular glasses. I did have a pair of prescription sunglasses. And I was able to take those to Walmart, like 10 minutes away. They could tell what the lens thickness was. They made me a new pair of glasses. But the only frames they have were like these dorky, I think it's called tortoise shell or something, right? So that was the summer that I became like a brown glasses guy.
You never went back.
But what's crazy about this story to me, and this is how it goes to market, it's like, imagine that. The miracle of that situation, that I had an urgent need to get a new pair of glasses. There was no eye doctor around. There's no glass maker around. It's not like, I just had to go into the store that was in the middle of nowhere, really, and show them my old, like a pair of prescriptions. They could read it, and they could make me a new pair of glasses in like 15 minutes. And for a very low cost. They were the cheapest glasses. I was very poor. I was like, And I started to reflect on that as like, what an ultimate testament to market forces, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, yeah.
How do I land that story in a way that makes sense? But the reason I wear these glasses is because markets enabled it or something. I don't know.
No, yeah. No, I get where you're going.
No, wait. Sorry. There's one more complication to this. Okay. Sorry, I have to tell you this. This is where the story gets crazy. Time passes. Everything. I'm amazed that South Carolina was able to do this. Like, holy shit, this is unbelievable. Okay. 5-6 years later, the glasses break. You know, not the glasses part, but the frames break. I got to get new glasses. Got new glass frames. So I roll into a Walmart in Virginia. It has an optometry center. I figured they'll just take them out and give me new ones. No. You have to get an exam. I was like, why? State law in Virginia requires, if you're going to get a pair of glasses from a Walmart, you have to get an exam. And conveniently, we have an eye doctor right over here, and he'll do you right now, and he'll pay you like $150 or whatever. So I was like, but my glasses, I know what my prescription is. You know, you don't need me to do it. No, it's for your safety.
State law, yeah.
And I actually did look up this later. It's like it's a state law. Some states have it, some don't. It relates to optometrists. Like, look, I don't want to presume that the negative intent, but it definitely locks in revenues for that.
Yeah.
Everyone has to have an eye exam, but imagine the costs imposed on young families. Like, hey, my kid can't see well. Oh, you have to get an eye exam. Every time you order a prescription lens, you have to have an exam that's within the past year or something crazy. It's like, that's a burden, man. That's a cost. What's the benefit to that regulation? I don't know. Anyway, that was the difference. I was like, wow, some states are more free than others, and how does that...
Yeah. And there are stories like that all over the place. I mean, I think of like in India and certain states, your business can't be open after a certain time.
That's crazy.
Right? Because to protect people from crime and whatnot. But as a business owner, you still need to make a living, so you're still going to sell. If the cutoff is like 8 p.m. or 10 p.m., you're still going to sell after 10 p.m. And then you're still going to put yourself in danger, maybe even more danger. And then the cops are going to find you because you're doing business you're not supposed to be doing it. And so it spirals down and down, over and over. So it's like, how do you put that into like, a 15-second, 60-second clip where you kind of sell that idea? There's the one video that I'm like thinking of. There's a guy and he does this. He does like, he said there's this content around like Hispanic or like more of like a Mexican audience, I would say. But he'll start off the video and he'll be like, things that all like Mexican kids did as they're growing up. And it's like, oh, they'd go to a party and hit a piñata.
Right.
They'd go to the store and buy that's with their parents. And then it'll be something very like deep and serious. Like they'll suffer through divorce and end up doing this and whatnot. And then something fun again. So he like draws people in, but then he like puts out a serious topic, and then kind of makes it like fun again in like a funny way. And I find that kind of like enticing in that it would be simple to do something like that. Or a video example, I don't know for sure what I wanted to say, but it could be like things that all Americans experience growing up, and it's like it's this, and then it's this. And then it's this way that the government that controlled you when you were a youngin.
Right.
But then it's this. So that's kind of like how I picture it, where it's like, it draws someone in, but then it kind of forces them to listen to this idea or this topic.
I think you're onto something. I think we are both onto something here. And then I think what Reason would like to see potentially, I'm going to look at the rules. I think when you enter contests like this, as I've done in the past, many times, different types of contests, I think where a lot of people get messed up is they don't look at the rules and they don't see, well, what are the evaluative criteria? What are the judges looking for? They might be, I'm sure Reason lays it out, like 20% this, 20% that. And just make sure that whatever you're doing fits within the expectations. So you position yourself for success in the contest. So that's one thing we'll do. That's a takeaway from this conversation. Let's dig into the rules. When's the deadline? I bet I'm gonna guess here. I'm totally speculating. I bet one of their judging criteria might be, could this concept become a series? because it's enough to pay $1,000 to get a viral video or whatever. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think what they're probably wondering is, could we actually spur up someone who does this and gets a following and then does smart, fun stories about markets, and then like you said, it's a signature production style.
Yeah, right. No, I was thinking that as well, because I was thinking not necessarily as like a series, but in some ways I don't want to spend too much time thinking of the idea, because if they want it to be recurring, you're not going to have a lot of time to spend thinking of an idea.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, it's going to end up being imperfect regardless. So it's like, what's something that you could replicate on like a week-to-week basis at the very least?
Grauben, dude, you're onto something. Here's an idea. Here's a challenge. Maybe what you do is give yourself constraints. Because you're right, if you want to do this again in the future, you have to have a realistic ability to replicate it. Now the first one's always a little harder because you're just getting started. But what if you said to yourself, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna come up with an idea. I'm gonna make a submission for this, and my constraint is I have to do this within 2 hours, and I will not break that. I mean, obviously you have to hold yourself accountable. Maybe you will break the rule, but if you try to keep it really simple, so that don't overthink it, right? Because if you want to make it replicable in the future, you want lower, little cost as possible in terms of time. That's a pretty cool idea, man. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what you do.
Another thing that a lot of people, or I've seen some groups do abroad, is they have a. I'm gonna explain this really poorly.
It's all right.
It's like an international. It's like a tax day, where it'll be like a day on the calendar, like April 11th or whatnot. And on April 11th, that's the first day that their citizens start earning like their actual
We have
income.
that in America too.
Right.
I don't know what the day is, but you're right. I've seen that. It's assuming like if you pay so much a year, the average citizen has to work how many days before they start earning for themselves. That's pretty cool.
Because what I'm thinking is like another like just like different idea is day one of me working for the government, day two of me working for the government
Right.
for like 200 days or whatever it is, and it's like, okay, day one of me finally like making money for myself. I don't know, something like that. I'm just spitballing ideas right now.
Yes,
But,
it's all right. I like it.
but now I'm thinking of things that could like last a little bit longer. Right?
Yeah, that's cool. As you can tell, folks, we have a lot of good ideas percolating. So we'll wrap up today's episode here. It's just a start. It's just a start. We're going to come back to this gentleman, Grauben Lara. He's a man of many, many talents. We're only scratching the surface. We didn't even talk about his drumming. We're going to get into that someday.
One day.
But anyway, thanks for your time here, Grauben. We're going to follow up. We're going to enter this contest.
Yep.
We're going to check in and we'll have an interview later
We'll see.
to see what happens. Thanks, folks. See you later.